This is Ian Kilborn at St. Lawrence College, Energy Systems Engineering Technology program. This is a short video on how to get weather data, particularly heating degree days, from RETScreen Expert for a particular date range. We do this when we are trying to reconcile actual energy consumption per the bills with the energy consumption that software such as RETScreen might predict for our building, and to make that adjustment to our model. So I've fired up RETScreen Expert here. In order to download this data, you must have the paid version of RETScreen Expert. If you're just working with the free version, you can see the data, but you cannot extract it. The first step is to let RETScreen know where we are going to be, where the location is. So I'm going to come up in the top band here and click Location. And I'm going to choose, right now you can see the climate location. The default is Varennes in Quebec. We want to change that. There's a few different buttons that we can use to do that. I'll click this one here that says Select Climate Data Location. This brings me to a map. There's two icons on this map. One is for the facility location, and one is for the climate data location. For this particular project, I want to have them both at Kingston, Ontario. I can drag them around here and put them to Kingston. Typically what happens is they end up being not quite exactly in the same spot. The climate data location will basically zoom to the nearest weather station. The facility location, however, will sit exactly where you put it. So if it's 3 or 4 kilometers away from the climate data location, you may get some variance in your numbers. I want to get them both exactly at Kingston. So if I click over here in the top left corner on data, I can kind of choose it the old-fashioned way instead of with the map. So Ontario, Kingston, 4,182 degree days in an average year. So I'll come down here to the bottom right and I'll click Paste Data. Now you can see that my climate data location and my facility location are exactly the same in longitude and latitude. So they're both set at Kingston, which is what I need to go forwards. I'm going to come up to the top ribbon here now and click on Data, and we are going to go fetch our weather data for the time period. So I'll click here on Weather. I get a bunch of default columns here of typical weather data that you might want to have. Doesn't have heating degree days in it yet, so click here for heating degree days. In order to be compatible with RETScreen's building model, I want my base reference temperature for heating to be 18. So I'm going to override that from 16. Now I can go ahead, this adds a column over here on the right, now called heating degree days with a base of 18. I could delete these other columns if I want to, but it's a bit tedious. I'm just going to say download the data right now. So in here I choose the date range that I want. I'm just going to pick a random one, January 1st, 2015 to, let's say, December 31st, 2015. And I'll click the check mark here. And in comes the data. Tells us here how much data was missing and what it did about it. So there were 3 data points missing in this whole field. It auto-filled those missing ones by using an average based on the ones that were adjacent. This is the column I'm interested in over here. Again, it's a bit tedious to delete all these columns. I'm just going to come over here and say export to a file. I'm going to take it into a Microsoft Excel file. and it asks me where I want to save that. Put it on my desktop. At this point, I think I will take out these columns that I don't want. And now I've got my heating degree days here. So I can just total those using ordinary Excel tools. And there is my total heating degree days for that time period.